There is confusion, sir, or at least the need for more clarity as far as the state of J&K is concerned and how it's going to fit and integrate into the GST. Can you share with us what the process is going to be? The Finance Minister, in response to a question in Parliament, said that you will need to pass an act through your State Assembly and then the process of integration will start. Why has J&K been kept out and what is the process for integration?
Well, I don't think there is any issue, and there's a lot of clarity on whatever has been done. With regard to the specifics of J&K, the state of J&K, as you are aware, has its own constitution, and we levy taxes under Section 5 of our constitution and not Article 246 of the Constitution of India. Now, what is required by law is that any amendment to the constitution must be ratified by the state legislature, and as the Union FM has said in the Parliament, that we will, the same GST, IGST and SGST. There's no issue on SGST and IGST because they're already operative on the CGST to map the same kind of law and pass an act here in our own assembly, as has been said by the FM. And we will start the process sometime in May or June. So we will be able to meet the targets of July. I don't think there's an issue there. There are constitutional requirements for us which we are following as per the Constitution of India and the Constitution of Jammu.
So you will be fully integrated into the GST by the rollout timeline, which is the 1st of July. So you hope to move all the legislative process through the State Assembly before the 1st of July. Yes,
we will go to our assembly. To our legislature with our proposal and get it passed before the 1st of July. So we will be able to join and integrate ourselves with the GST regime in our own way from the 1st of July or whenever the day starts, yes.
Okay, just hold on, Mr. Drabu, because we've got a large panel of tax experts and this was one of the concerns that they had raised. Prateek, you've heard from Mr. Drabu there. Any further clarifications that you require?
Yes, so Shireen, I would just request Mr. Drabu to maybe throw some light as to how the interstate transactions into J&K or from J&K will be treated. So, because what I heard him saying is that as far as CGST and SGST laws are concerned, it will be similar laws but will be passed by the J&K Assembly. But let's say if a transaction is taking place from Delhi to a customer is in J&K, even under the IGST law, I think the definition of India excludes J&K. So how will that transaction be treated? Any transaction from outside the state to J&K or from J&K to outside the state?
No, there is absolutely no issue on the IGST. In fact, what I said was on the SGST and IGST, there is no issue at all because those articles which have been amended by the Constitution of India are already applicable to the state of J&K. So we are only looking at CGST the way we have to ratify it in our assembly. That's all, because an amendment has been made to the Constitution of India. None of that would apply unless it is ratified by the State Assembly. So, as I said, we draw, whereas our sales tax laws of all of the states draw their sanction from entry 54 of the state list, the tax laws of the state are legislated by virtue of the powers derived from Section 5 of the Constitution of J&K. So, which provides that all the legislative powers of the state extend to all matters except those in respect to the Parliament. So we have no issue with IGST. We'll map the same IGST as prevails. So there should not be any apprehensions on that front.
Okay, there's a question in from Rohan Shah, Mr. Drabu. Just a second.
Minister, I just wanted to inquire, there are a series of exemptions for manufacturing units in J&K. Will those exemptions be treated and grandfathered in the same way as similar exemptions all over the country?
There are two sets of exemptions that we have. There are central exemptions and state exemptions. The central exemptions will be grandfathered by the central government, and the state exemptions which we have planned for in the sharing pattern, we will finance those. Our understanding is that basically we will generate a lot more resources being a consuming state. We should be able to finance that part which falls within our domain, those exemptions. So till the point the exemptions are valid, and will continue till 2019 or 20 or thereafter, we will be able to get them. And in fact, it's a part of our understanding in the GST Council that these exemptions will be a part. Two things have been done also, is that in the base year, exemptions have been quantified so that that's a part of our growth story. So if there's a shortfall, then we'll be compensated for that. So to answer the question,
Okay.
yes, we will grandfather them in the way in which enters.
Can you give us a little more color, sir? Because I understand that this is going to be a matter that a lot of states are going to have to deal with in terms of how you grandfather these state exemptions. Will there be a refund, or how will the mechanism exactly work? What has been the discussion and the debate within the GST Council?
I think it will be more in the nature of, a rolling kind of a refund. So that for your first transaction,
Okay.
it's like in the case of what happened in the VAT, that you would actually give the first transaction you would do, and then we'll keep giving the credits based on that. So you don't have to actually go through a whole process of refunding every time there's a transaction, but that there is the first transaction itself, we'll charge the amount and then we'll roll it over. So it's in some ways a kind of a rolling refund.
Okay, Mr. Drabu, before I let...
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
No, sorry, it's not that it's for every transaction, but as in the case of VAT, it will be rolling over. Given that we'll charge the first leg, will be charged, and that will continue to be operative for the series of transactions that happen thereafter.
The last conversation that we had, Mr. Drabu, you felt that it might be more prudent to look at a rollout date post 1st of July because there were lots of loose ends, you said, that still required tying up. Do you still believe that 1st of July, while it may be doable, is perhaps not advisable?
That is my view. I've been saying that, but I think I feel that for a month, a delay in a month, what a month doesn't really change the entire thing. My only concern is that for an administrative kind of hiccup, you would then start blaming the GST regime. So, for these things. So it might be more prudent and safer. Small things have to be evened out, and we are running against a very tough deadline. So, as you said, yes, doable 1st July, my preference 1st September. So, just gives us more time to kind of get our act together at the state level, because these are coordinating.
All right, Mr. Drabu, always... Yes. No, it's complex, sir, but always a pleasure, sir. Thanks very much for joining us and giving us that clarification here on CNBC TV 18 on how the state of Jammu and Kashmir will be integrated into the GST ambit.